Hello, this is Tiffany of Tiff's Labyrinth Arts and Crafts Studio. Welcome to my channel, and as promised I am going to be making a video that is all about paper dyeing, and we're going to shoot for 10 different ways to paper dye. And I have a few different products here, and wanted to start out with talking about the most basic and common probably way of paper dyeing is coffee dyeing paper, and that's basically using instant coffee and making a strong concoction of instant coffee and either painting the coffee on paper or dipping the paper into it, and dyeing it that way. And there's also some fun way that you can get images onto coffee dyed paper using stencils, and I will get more specific about that when we talk more about that, get it more in depth into talking about the coffee dyeing. The second most common is tea dyeing. If you use coffee, you obviously can use tea, and tea is a slightly different color than coffee dyeing, and it's more subtle. I think it's lighter. It just it takes the stark white out, but it's not as dark as the coffee. And also, I forgot to mention about the coffee. Most people that I've heard use instant coffee, but if you watched my video of the unique paper haul that I did from Inky Fingers Society, that I bought from them and did a review of their products, they actually use espresso grounds, used espresso grounds, and make a dye out of that. And the dye from the espresso beans is not quite as yellow as the dye from the instant coffee. So they're the only people that I've heard that do that, but after having looked at their paper and purchased some of their paper, it is really beautiful, not to mention it smells fantastic. So and I think the instant coffee dye smells fantastic, and the paper that you make from it smells like coffee for a good long time after. So that's a lot of fun to do that. And okay, so number 3, the third way is making rust water. And rust water is basically exactly what it sounds like. You make a solution of half water, half vinegar, and you put nails, steel nails in, and steel wool in a jar. And I use a half-gallon jar, and you let that sit for a while until it rusts, and then you use that rust water to dye paper, and it gives it a nice vintagey, antique sort of look to it, grungy sort of look, and you know how much I love the grunge. So and then the fourth way, and I'm going to get to these products I have in front of me. I just wanted to talk about the ones that I don't have in front of me first. So number 4 is just using your basic RIT dye that everybody pretty much knows about RIT dye. You can buy it at pretty much in any grocery store or Walmart or craft store. Has they've come out also with many more colors than they used to have. So and it's I believe you can get it in both a liquid and a powder form, but I use the liquid. I've used the liquid, and I've gotten some good results, and I've gotten better results from different colors than others from the RIT dye. Some of the RIT dye actually makes the paper too dark, I think. So and I'll get more into specifics about that when I talk about that, when I get more into depth in that topic. So now to get into the products I have in front of me here. The number 4, number 5, I think it's number 5. Number 5, alcohol ink. Believe it or not, you can dye paper with alcohol ink. There is a method that I've learned by watching online videos to dye paper using alcohol ink, and I was surprised to find that, because usually when you use alcohol ink on porous surfaces, it does not come out very well, but you just use a teeny bit and float it on top of water and vinegar, and kind of like lightly put your paper on top and then swipe it up and get some really cool results that way. And number 6 is your acrylic ink, and I have various colors of acrylic ink we're going to play with. I've got the burnt sienna and burnt umber and all of the grungy brown type colors, but then I also have some nice blues and greens and purples that'll be fun to play with as well. And number 7 is this product called Infusion, and it is a paper artsy product. And again, this is called the Just Walnut. So this is the brown, and this is a color. You can see here that this is a powder, and they almost look like little crystals. There's a little shine to them, and there's various different colors in these as well. I have several. Let me see if I can get that package and show you how many different colors there are. So you can see in here, this is one pack of them. I mean, they don't come in a pack like this. I just bought them individually and they were shipped this way. But there's not just one, there's 2. So this many different colors, all kinds of interesting ones. So we'll get to play with these and see what those come out with. And this does specifically say, it says sprinkle on surface and spritz with water. So I think you can maybe use them with fabric and paper. I'm not sure. Let's see, this says water-based colored stains. So anyway, we're going to try them on paper and maybe even try them on fabric as well. There's another product called Solar Fast, and this is the number 8 way. And this, I had never heard of this product before, and I actually got this online somewhere on sale, like a really, really good sale. I can't remember exactly where, but this is also specifically for paper, and it says it's a sunlight developed dye for paper and natural fabrics. So this is a product specifically for paper and fabrics. And using the instruction, or reading the instructions, at the end it says you have to use this other product to stop the process from happening, the developing from happening, and I do not have that product, so I'm going to have to see if I can even use this without that other product. But anyway, it's something to play with. I wanted to try it and see what it does. And this is from a company called Jacquard. And this other the next product I have is also from Jacquard, and it's just called Basic Dye. And this product is number 9 on our list. And this says that it is for woods, reeds, and acrylic fibers, most plastics, and leather. So this is a powder-based dye that is for hard to stain substances. So I don't know how it's going to do on paper. I will probably try to make a lighter, it says here to use, let's see, you use vinegar and water, and use, it doesn't even say how much dye to use, it just says add the dye. So I'll figure out how much of the dye to use, and I'll probably use a lot less than it calls for in order to dye the paper instead of these other substances that it talks about. Now this next product, this is the last, it's number 10, and it's from a company called American Crafts, and it's just called Handmade Paper Dye. and it's specifically for paper. And I'm excited about trying this one. This is not a powder, it is a liquid. And this is the pinks that I have here, but there's also a rainbow of colors that I have that we can play with this product. And since this is specifically for paper, I'm excited to see what the results of this is. So, but it doesn't really give a whole lot of instructions. It just says easily add color to your handmade paper with this paper dye. So, and obviously I'm not going to be using handmade paper. I'm going to be using, you know, just your regular copy paper and various different papers that I have that we're going to just experiment with to see how it comes out. So there we go. There's the 10. There's the 10 ways of paper dyeing that we're going to explore, and I'm very excited about this. Very excited to play with you guys and see what we can come up with. So craft along with me, or if you would like to get these products and try yourself, or if you'd like to just wait until you see this video and see which ones you like, which effects that you like the best, and maybe be able to dye your own paper. So anyway, we'll get started. Okay, so I think I have this set up to where it will work. So this is my first time experimenting with this, so we're going to see how this works. So I have a pyrex pan here with alcohol ink, not alcohol, vinegar and water. And I don't know, I used quite a bit of vinegar. I don't know what the ratio, I never got a recipe for the ratio from anybody that I looked at their video. So so I just kind of guessed. It's probably half and half. And I'm going to start with the alcohol ink, and I'm going to be just using regular well, it's not regular copy paper, it's 32 pounds, so it is a little bit heavier than regular copy paper, but there's really no reason why you couldn't use regular copy paper. I just thought I would do this because it would be a little more resistant to the water, like, you know, tearing and all of that fun stuff. So how this is supposed to work is you drip some alcohol ink onto the surface, and it kind of stays on the surface of the water. And so when you put your, oh look, it does say on the surface. That's cool. You put your paper in it, and then it, you know, it absorbs the ink. And I'm going to see how it works with, oh, I see, it kind of pushes it out of the way. It doesn't blend. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. You probably cannot see that. But I am going to just put a few different drops. So we've got some blue, some pink, some red, and I'm going to use this is called rosewood. No, I'm not, because I'm going to do some more blue on the other side. I'm going to use glacier. Let's see here. I'm going to go way over here and do glacier. There we go. Let's see, I'm still seeing some dead space in the middle. So I'm going to see what happens if I go that way. Okay, that works. All right, now I'm just going to go ahead and put my first piece of paper in there and see what happens. Well, first of all, I should have used a bigger pan because the paper doesn't quite fit in there. But we will move it to this side and then over to this side. And that's really cool. Look at that. Oh, that picked that up so cool. Look at this. Oh, I love it. That's so much fun. Okay, so we have, it did pick up. I wonder why the red is so kind of blotchy. The other ones are really smooth, but for some reason the red is blotchy. Okay, let's move on. Let's do some more. So we've got some, I still see some pink, maybe a little bit of purple on the surface. I'm gonna add a drop of Laguna, maybe 2 drops. And I'm going to add a drop of, let's do pitch black. That one goes all out. That one looks like it might be a little bit blotchy like the other ones. I don't know. We'll see. We'll put the paper in and see. Okay, and just for future references, note to self, use a bigger pan. Okay, so we have, yeah, see that black is blotchy too. The blue is beautiful. It has like this marbleized thing to it. Now I don't know if I want to put this on top of that. I think I might want to put it on the side and let it dry to where it's not, let's see, can I? Yeah, it definitely can rub off of there. So let me dry these and see what it comes out with when it's dry. This does look like a blow dryer, like a hair dryer, but it is actually a heat gun. So it gets up to about, I think I read that it gets to about 300 degrees. So you definitely want to be sure that you don't have anything that's going to melt underneath it. And it does lend itself to drying quite quickly, although I do see that there's some puddles. Let's see, that's still damp. Let's see, I bet it'll go quicker if I lift it up so it's not right on that glass. And you definitely have to be careful, since it is about 300 degrees. Be careful of your fingers in front of the heating tool. Let's see. I'm going to put these actually to the side, since I have plenty of floor space down here. I'm going to let them finish drying down there. That one's not my favorite, but I like the concept. So we know the blue does well. The blue kind of does like a little marbly thing. The red and the black get blotchy for some reason. So we will keep that in mind. So I want to add some more, let's see, how about some green? We have this one's called Mojito. Gonna do a drop, and I think I can kind of look at the surface and tell which ones are going to be blotchy and which ones are going to be smooth. This one looks like it's going to be a bit smooth. So we have limeade, that was Mojito. Now we're going to do a drop or two of limeade. Gosh, that almost has a yellow to it. And again, I don't know if, yeah, you can see a little bit on the camera the tintedness of the water. And let's see, what is this? This is sandal. So we'll see if this one's blotchy or not. The blotchy ones I'm going to set aside. So now that I say that, okay, set aside. I believe it was the rosewood. No, it wasn't the rosewood. I know it was the black. Set the black aside. And I believe it was the red, the poppy field. Yeah, I'll set those aside. And the rest of them so far are doing really good. So let's see. And then I'm going to add a bit of citrus. Okay, so all of these so far look like they're going to do well. They're not going to be blotchy. So let me grab another sheet of paper. And you just want to, well, as soon as I was going to say that, you just want to lay this right on top there. You don't necessarily want to submerge it into the water. Just kind of want to float it on the top just to sort of pick up that top layer. So, oh, that green is really pretty. Yeah, I still see, and I'm picking up some of that splotchy black that I put in there. And there's a little bit of blue that's left over. I see that. Okay, and I see some pink still, but I think the pink looks like it's floated to the bottom. So, all right, let's see. All right, the poppy field is what I used, I think. The red that I used, that was splotchy. I'm gonna try one called red pepper and see if that's splotchy. Yeah, looks a little splotchy. Okay, that's okay. I'm going to, I'm just gonna go with it. Gonna work with it. Okay, and we're gonna go with an orange. This one's called Valencia. Ooh, that one looks like that'll be pretty. I'm gonna do 3 drops of that. And let's see, we'll do a yellow. This is called Dandelion. Okay, we've got some red and orange and yellow. So let's see what that looks like. And again, just want to kind of lay that on the top and kind of just pull that over the surface. Ooh, that came out nice. Oh, I like that. You know, that red is not as splotchy as the other one, so that's cool. Oh shoot, look at the yellow. Look at the yellow though, a little bit splotchy, but it's still kind of cool. It's kind of got a marbly effect. It's not splotchy like those first 2 were. So this is kind of cool looking. All right, I'm gonna put these on the floor. Over here. And I'm gonna put these on the floor over here. And of course, when they dry, I'm going to show you the dried version. All right, what colors do we want to do next? Let's do a grungy one. Let's see, we have some espresso. All right, that one looks good. We'll do another drop of that. And then we'll do one called sepia. That's got a little yellowy green to it. And then we have caramel. That was one of my favorite ones to use when I grunge up the metal, when I was doing the faux metal labels, my first video. Okay, and another favorite, mushroom. Let's see if mushroom's gonna be, nope, mushroom does not look splotchy at all. Good. Okay. Next piece of paper. Let's see, this is much thicker than, I mean, it kind of, even though I know it's not cardstock, in a way, it almost feels like a light cardstock, even though it's 32 pounds. Okay, we have this side going down the middle and picking it up at the end. Ooh, that's cool looking. I really like that one. Ooh, this is one of my favorites so far. It picked up, I guess that's the red from the last time that was still there, or maybe that's the, I don't know what that is. It has a red tint to it, but it might have been the more grungy ones that I put down, or that I put in the water this last time. Super cool. This is my favorite one so far. Okay, down to the ground to dry. Okay, we still have quite a bit on the surface. We got some grungy still on the surface. I'm gonna add, you know what colors I like together? I kind of like turquoise and brown. Those are so pretty. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna leave it right there because I think there's enough left over from the last time that this is gonna come out pretty good. I hope. We'll see. Okay, on the surface and coming up to the other side. Yeah, that looks good. There is a lot of blue. Wow, that turquoise went far. But it did pick up that still that those other two were kind of along the center there. And I think, let's see. No, okay, that other stuff looks like it's not on the surface anymore. It looks like it's sunk down. Okay, this one's still pretty cool though. I like the kind of swirl in the, or line in the center there, swirling around. Okay, so we had, okay, this one's called Pool. It's a blue shade. 1, 2, we're gonna go 3. Wow, that one's super light. I don't even see that one. Okay, and then we're gonna do, this is called Laguna. Another shade of blue. They have a lot of shade of blues in this alcohol ink, but they're really beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna do blue, and then I'm gonna do purple. I think I did this one at this was the first one I did. This one's called Purple Twilight. Almost looks like a magenta. Okay, put that down and just pull it across. Ooh, pretty, pretty, pretty. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's one of my favorites too. The purple. Oh, look at how it swirls over here. Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful. Nice, 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 nice. Gosh, that looks very marbly through here. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if we can see this a little bit closer, how marbly that is. Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, next. Oh my gosh, I got scratched by our kitten this morning on my hand, and I'm getting that vinegar and that scratch, and it's really burning. Okay, let's do another grungy one. I thought I got out my smudge somewhere. Let's see, there's caramel. There's smudge right there. Okay. See, that's my scratch. It burns. Okay, gosh, that almost disappears. You can't hardly see that one. All right, I'm gonna go back with the caramel. Seems like you can't go wrong with caramel and whatever you're doing, because this is this seems like it's one of my favorite colors in paper dyeing, just like it is with using with metal. Okay, what was that one? That was Ember. This is kind of a dark, looks like a dark orange, except for here it looks like almost like a red, but in the bottle it looks like a dark orange. See? Okay, now what will I do? Can I get, I think I'm going to try the sienna. One here. Gosh, that almost looks like the same color as the Ember. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. And we're going to try another sheet of paper. Okay. Yeah, I think, oh look, there was some blue left over, from the last time. Okay, I think this in this area is supposed to be the smudge where I picked up the smudge color, but it's very light. It doesn't look like it's anything, you know, compared obviously to the other colors. So I don't know. We'll see what that looks like when it dries. Okay, what next? The yellow. Let's see, I had a dandelion. Seems like there was another yellow I had. Oh, sunshine yellow. Let's try that one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yellow, and I'm going back to this Laguna. That's such a pretty color, and it just marbleizes so well. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll swipe another page. So we're going to be dyeing all this paper, so what are we going to use the dyed paper for? And so far the dyed paper that I've done before, ooh, look at that one. That's really pretty with the yellow and the turquoise, and whatever that one was got splotchy, but I thought, it seems like maybe the more it lays in there, the splotchier it gets maybe. But the blues never get splotchy. They're like always marbly. So that's kind of cool. What was I talking about? I was talking about, oh, what to use your dyed papers for. And I just always, pretty much what I've always used mine as, mostly, not always, but mostly, is backgrounds for my journals and for papers for my signatures for my journals. And you know, obviously you can stamp and then embellish, and then you've got the pretty background. And again, this is my first time doing the alcohol ink dyeing paper this way, but I have several times. Let's see, this one's called Raspberry. Ooh, look at that one. That's really pretty. But I have done coffee dyeing several times, and I have done the Rit dye several different ways. I've done it like dunking paper in, and I've done it where you put it in a spray bottle and you spray different colors on different areas. Ooh, look at that one. Oh, that one looks like it's going to be splotchy. This is called Fiesta. Oh well, let it be splotchy. Let's see. Let's see, those are, I'm going to put this in the splotchy zone. Okay, what would go good with these pink colors? How about, let's do amethyst. Maybe it'll be significantly darker. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. It's got a kind of a blue, it's a more of a bluish purple. Okay, time to swipe. This is really fun because, you know, none of them come out the same. Everyone's different. Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous. Even though that's splotchy, I really like it, actually. Up there's some more. There's the smudge on the side from, like, you know, 4 papers ago. Cool. All right, let's go. I want to go back to some of these yellows. These were pretty. This is dandelion, and I'm gonna kind of just drop that right in the middle of this pink. And then I'm gonna do limeade. So that's kind of a yellowy green. All right, and I can't tell if that pink is still on the surface or if it has sunk down. Oh, this is so pretty. This is one of my favorite ones so far too. Even though it's splotchy, I'm coming to find out that I might like the splotchy. I didn't think I would at first, or I didn't at first. I didn't like the red splotchy or the black splotchy. That, by the way, is a very highly technical term, splotchy. Okay, oh, that's cool. Yeah, it looks like the pink has sunk already, so it just picked up it picked up a little pink right here, but mainly the yellow and the limeade, and a teeny bit of looks like the amethyst from before is still there. So that's kind of cool looking. I like that a lot. Not one of my favorites, but I do like it a lot. And I don't know, these, I'm doing so many of these, and I was going to do 10 ways to dye papers. That might be an extremely long video, so it might be that I do multiple videos of each way, like maybe 1 way per video. So that might be a better way to do it. Okay, so I can't remember which one I just used. I think it was Sailboat Blue, and this is Glacier. Okay, I want to put some more pink. The pink on there looks really good. You know, it's funny because I'm not typically a pink fan. Well, I like Pink the singer, but you know, like the color pink. But in this, it looks, gosh, that almost looks fluorescent. I'm really liking the pink in these. And this, you know, these paper dyeing colors. Well, because I don't know that it's like it comes out a different color when you paper dye it versus when you do it as it was, I think, originally intended to do on non-porous surfaces. You usually do, or the way I've learned it, you do alcohol inks on like plastic, like something called Yupo paper. Ooh, this is pretty. Gosh, this is like the other one. I did a blue and a purple before, and that was one of my favorites, and I think this is one of my favorites. But yeah, there's something called Yupo paper and Duralar, which is non-porous surfaces that are designed specifically to use alcohol inks on. And you can do some really cool things. I'll do an alcohol ink. I'll play with alcohol ink at some point on one of my videos using the Duralar and the Yupo paper. I'm certainly not an expert at it. There's many more videos and many more people who do, you know, a much better job with it than I do, but you know, just in the spirit of playing along, I'll do a video at some point so I can show you, if you don't already know, what it's like. If this is your first exposure to alcohol ink, it's not typically used for paper dyeing. is pretty much the point I'm trying to make. Okay, now this is, oh, this is sienna. I thought it was the red that got splotchy before, but the sienna does have a red tint, but it does not get splotchy, it looks like. And I'm going to go back to sepia. Yeah, I'll do some more grungy ones. Ooh, okay, now see, the sepia now is getting splotchy. I didn't remember it being splotchy before. Oh well. Like I said, I've been kind of liking the splotchy ones now. Okay, this is espresso. So it looks like it's a darker brown color. Alright, I think I'm going to leave it at that and swipe my next paper. Okay, that's different. I wasn't expecting that, to see this little round thing. I wonder, yeah, I'm kind of getting a lot of round. I wonder if I just kind of swiped through it, if it would kind of make lines and swirls. I'm going to try that next time. And I'm going to go, let's see, where is here's the mushroom. Mushroom, 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 and Laguna. I think Laguna is going to be one of my favorite ones for paper dyeing. Okay, we have the rosewood. I think this one might have been one of the splotchy ones. I don't remember. Yes it was. That's okay. Okay, now I'm going to take let's see, what tool do I have sitting here? Here's a paintbrush. I'm gonna take the end of a paintbrush and I'm just gonna kind of swirl this around here, kind of go this way and that, and see if we can get something other than round. Let's see what this looks like, if anything. Okay, well, yeah, that kind of broke things up a little bit, except for this is still, but that's splotchy, so that, but the blue and the smudge or mushroom or whatever it was I just used did a good job of kind of swirling together. Yeah, I like this. I like this one. Okay, I'm going to do, oops, I just put a page on another page. I have to fix that. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm going to do just a couple more, and I really liked the blues and the purples together, and I liked the pinks and the yellows. So I'm going to do a couple more pages. This is the mermaid, and this is the purple twilight. And I'm going to run my paintbrush through this just to swirl things up a bit. Grab another sheet of paper. Oh yes, see this purple and blue, gosh, that's just gorgeous. And I love, see that swirling and marbling. Oh, I like that. I'm gonna have to remember to do the paintbrush through the top like that. One of my faves. All right, next I'm gonna do yellow, sunshine yellow. And pink. Let's see, what pink did I use before? I don't remember. Raspberry. I thought raspberry was the one that did splotchy, got splotchy. I don't remember now. Okay, no. I don't think it's getting splotchy. Okay, so here's that. Here's my back of my paintbrush to kind of swirl it around a bit. And another page. Oh, yes. Ooh, pretty. And there was still some blue left over. Gosh, that's gorgeous. Yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving the paintbrush swirl technique. That comes out really, really nice. Really nice. Okay, I wanted to try something. I'm not going to add any more. There's some, looks like there's a lot of ink that has sunk at the bottom. So I'm just gonna, I'm curious to see if it will dye, the paper if I just kind of like submerge it in there. And I may need to like kind of leave it for a little while. Just curiosity. I want to see what this, not so much. I mean, I'll leave it in here for a little while and see what happens. See if it absorbs any. Ouch, that vinegar is on my cut. That hurts. Okay, so that, I think I will stop right there and have the, let this be the end of the alcohol ink paper dyeing video. And I will let these dry and I will show you at the end what they look like in their dried version. All right, thank you. I will be right back. All right, so the papers have dried, and I was kind of concerned that because the alcohol ink set on the surface, that even when it dried, it might kind of not get into the paper, but kind of sit on the surface and maybe, you know, rub off or something, but that is not the case. It appears that it does actually get absorbed into the paper. So, so here's whenever I used the paintbrush and the end of the paintbrush and went through the, you know, swirled through the top of it. And I really like, in the future, I think I'm going to do that a lot. I really like that effect. And here's where there was a little bit of splotchiness, but I still like that. And the green and yellow with little bit of, I'm not sure if that's purple or blue going through there, but that's kind of cool looking. And I think that was the limeade and green. And this was the grungy one that I did that I really liked, and I still like it. I like it dry. Even though this kind of got a little splotchy, I still like it. I think it looks good. And of course my favorites are the purple and blues, because the blues especially seem to get real marbly. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see that, how marbly that gets. I just think that's beautiful. And there's a pink and blue. I like that one. And there's another kind of blue and grungy one. I remember doing the smudge color of alcohol ink, and it didn't really show up on the paper, but I see now that it's dried, it does show up. I don't know if you can see the sort of grungy looking color here and throughout here, because when it was wet it looked kind of like there was nothing there, but now that it dries, I think it looks better. I like it. And here's the really cool one with the light blue with the kind of looks like a river going through it with the, I'm not sure what color that was, but like a grungy color and kind of a reddish color. And then here's another purple and blue, and I believe this is where I use the paintbrush technique on that, because it's not so like has circles all over the place. It's kind of blended more together. And even though this is splotchy and not blended together, I really like this. I think this was going to be really fun in a junk journal for a background. Not my favorite here. This is where I was experimenting with the black. Again, the blue and the turquoise, that's so pretty with the marbling, but the black splotches, just, I don't think that looks good. I'm gonna have to do something else with this paper. Maybe put a different dye on top of it, or maybe even run it through the alcohol ink again and see. I'm curious to see if what happens if when you have run it a second time through the alcohol ink, if it covers the first or if it blends with the first. I'm not sure what would happen, but I want to find out. So here again, there I was kind of going crazy with the colors here. We've got the two different blues, the purple, the pink, and the red. That's kind of cool looking. I like that. And this, I really like this. This is the pinks and the purples. And again, the splotchiness is there, but it works in this case. I think it really works. And there's some blue and yellow and some red up here. I wish I had done the, I wish I had known at the time to do that paintbrush technique on that. And then this is another one. I'm not sure. See, now this one, I think this was supposed to be the smudge in here as well, but this did not show up as well as the other one. So this is another one I think I'm going to do something else with, maybe run it through again. And this is the result of, you know, I had said that I was going to submerge in the vinegar water combination, and at the end when all that ink had settled down and it was kind of a pink tinge. And this did turn out a little bit pink, but not, it's very subtle, and I think there's other ways I would rather dye than doing that. And it did get so wet that it did tear. So, but I will still use this for something. You know, that's the thing about junk journals. It doesn't matter how junky things can get, you can still use them. Things that are torn and things that are considered trash can be turned into treasure. And that is like the whole purpose of junk journaling, or one of the purposes of junk journaling. So, well, I started this video out saying that I wanted to do 10 ways, and I went through the 10 ways of paper dyeing, and like almost an hour later we've gotten to one. This is the alcohol ink. So I think I was very much wishful thinking to think that I could do 10 versions in one video. So I've decided that I'm going to break this up into several videos and do a series of paper dyeing videos and go through 1 or 2 ways per video, so that it's not so long and it can be, you know, broken up into a reasonable time. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. I'd love to hear comments, questions. Have you done this before? Would you do it? You know, have you heard of this being done before? I'm just curious about your experience and what, you know, if you would even consider doing this yourself. So again, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.